There was nothing else at all in the whole world but football.
Hi and welcome to my prediction video for Spain v Slovakia, Slovakia v Spain rather, as it's detailed in the fixture list, and it's going to be a good run tonight. And hopefully, I'm hoping for goals. I'm thinking that Spain are going to turn up. They're going to be a little bit more clinical, hopefully making advantage of that possession. 85% in that first game. I think they relaxed a little bit in the last game with something like 65, so even then that's still remarkable. But Slovakia are not going to be some pushover, I don't think. I imagine they'll be quite combative in the middle of the park. I think they play quite a narrow approach, so that sort of centre of the pitch is going to be quite the battlefront there, leading Spain to have to take advantage of those wings. And those sort of bombarding wing-back runs there. But that said, Slovakia, they only need a point to qualify, really, to safely qualify rather, so they can't lose today. If they draw, then their goal difference will see them through on 3 points. I think there are 2 teams with 3 points in other groups, but they have worse goal differences, so they will still go through if they get that result there. And Spain are really up against it today. They're on 2 points, have drawn their first 2 games. So really, it's quite the shock, to be honest. I mean, given that Spain are one of the big European sides, they are one of the big teams that you would expect to do the business in Euro 2020. They've been really disappointing. As I say, you've got the likes of Morata and Moreno up front there. I think I predicted in the first game there that they were potentially not the strike force that you would expect for that Spanish team. They need to be more clinical. Morata, he's got a decent record of late, but this Euro 2020 he has squandered some of those chances, which really make today's game all the more important. So I would expect, I'm going to be kind this time. I think he's going to be pretty productive. I'm saying this before the lineups have been announced, so who knows? Enrique could have made a change or two, but with Busquets back as captain, Azpilicueta coming back as well, potentially Spain are in a better position than they were previously, so I'd expect them to win 2-0 today. I'm just picking that out of the air, so it could go all horribly wrong, as my predictions are wont to do. Slovakia, though, they've got a lot to play for, I think. I don't think they're going to hold out for more of a defensive performance. They don't want to concede the goals because as they stand, I mean, if they lose by a goal, I think it may make things interesting in terms of the qualification, but any more than that and they will lose that third place qualification spot there with other 3-point teams with similar goal differences there, so it becomes a bit of a mathematical equation to figure out who's going to qualify, so we'll see on that front. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Spain really do need to turn up today, and I'm hoping they will do, so 2-0 from me. We'll see. Hi and welcome to my reaction video to Slovakia v Spain. Wow, what a result, 5-0. Luis Enrique was talking earlier before the game that the cork was going to come out, and it well and truly exploded there. So 5-0 to Spain, which I think potentially Spain have it in them. They have the potential for that kind of result there, and just goes to show that they're not to be written off, which I think a lot of people have done so far this tournament. They'd had a admittedly poor tournament so far, 2 draws, with a lot of possession, neglecting their chances, and that was in evidence today, believe it or not, with that scoreline. Morata looked way off confidence today. Didn't look like a man who thought he was going to score that penalty. It was a poor penalty, lacked the conviction that you would have found later on in the evening with Ronaldo's penalties, for instance, even Benzema, who hadn't scored for years. But yeah, that's it's something to be tackled by Enrique. I think Morata needs that boost, that confidence boost, and he would have hoped that a 5-0 win against Slovakia would have done that for him. It's a little too harsh to say that there's some issues in terms of his mental health there. I don't think that's it. I think it's a confidence issue for him, and he needs that game time. I think he's still got. He showed signs that he's still got it. So hopefully he'll come good for that. But that first goal by Dubravka, that own goal by the Slovakian keeper there, that Newcastle keeper, quite what he was doing. If he thought he was playing volleyball or whatnot, I don't quite know. But he just sort of slapped it into his net. It was bizarre. I think at first glance it was the worst goalkeeper error I've seen since Taibbi for Manchester United that time. But I think to give him some credit, if you can, I suppose, it's a difficult, awkward bounce. I think the sun was in his eyes at that point, and for a ball to come vertically from on high, it's an unusual trajectory, shall we say. I mean, I'm being kind there, but yeah, still, he should have dealt with that. But that set the scene, I think. I think without that, Slovakia might have put up a bit more of a fight, but that just sort of took the wind out of their sails, and they turned in what was pretty much the worst performance of the tournament, which was a shame because I expected a bit more of a battle, a bit more tenacity from Slovakia. They've got a decent side, but defensively they were so shocking. Failed to follow the man, failed to close them down, failed to really do anything with the ball defensively and in midfield and attack there, where they were just poor with possession and gave the ball away too many times. It was a real shame, and not the standard you'd expect at this level of the tournament. You think with Slovakia having hopes of qualifying, they would have done something a little different, but Spain really turned it on, and they've got that strength and depth despite the fact they've turned up to the tournament with 2 players less than they could have done. So that was interesting. I think I just sort of wonder what could have happened had they turned up with more players. But we had that discussion earlier on in the tournament, and it hasn't fazed them so far. So potentially have they got that experience and depth in their squad to go the distance? Possibly not. I think they've still got 1 or 2 hurdles to follow, to jump rather, before they can get there. But that was a promising performance there, with some real skill in possession, some real sort of Spanish of old passing there and movement off the ball. So it was really impressive from Spain today, and wasn't quite expecting a 5-0 whitewash, which would have been a hell of a prediction had I got that right. But I think I potentially got the tone of the match again correct. So that's no great shakes to predict that. But yeah, 5-0 Spain, and they go on to meet Croatia, which will be an interesting tournament. Both teams perhaps not performing as their history would have like them to. I think Croatia were a great side, Spain were a great side. Whether or not they can dredge up the heroes of the past for that one is going to be another matter. But yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup, and I wouldn't like to predict that one, so I'm going to hand that over to somebody else, I think, when the time comes. But what a strange result today. So really glad I got to watch this. So on to the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to the Triple F. If you could please drop a like on our Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, that would be massively appreciated. Hope you're all keeping safe, and thanks again for listening to the Triple F.